Caddis Maximus here, this time with a review of the Lyle heavy-duty flexible telescoping magnetic pickup tool number 66580. I think I paid like $7 for this. I wanted to mention I got a new editing computer and I've been fiddling around with making intros, so sorry about the music. It's things that I think kind of sound neat and I've been switching it up. Other people don't share that opinion, but I do appreciate the comments about it. And I'll work on getting my intros kind of settled in, but I do like kind of getting back into computers a bit. Even though I've built this channel on tons of tools, dirty secret, I used to be well into computers. And then switched careers to do more mechanic stuff and kind of moving back towards computers again. This flexible magnetic pickup tool is actually pretty nice. What really caught my eye was one that it had this really nice flexible neck or universally articulating neck that was in a rigid telescoping body. The other thing that kind of caught my attention, let's see, there's what they talk about. From about 6 inches to 24 inches long is it's made in Japan. And I like Japanese made tools. Some of the things like this that are manufactured in Japan tend to have very fine quality because the Japanese machine tools, particularly CNC machines, which are metalworking robots like, mills and lathes, subtractive manufacturing where they cut around the metal, cut the metal away, are some of the finest in the world. Brands like Mazak, Matsuura, Mikino are just some of the best machines in the world. Yes, there are huge robots that can machine away metal within 1 micron of accuracy, and they come out of Japan. Let's take another close look at this, and we can see that really like the flexible neck is just absolutely perfect, not a single blemish. The head is really well finished. It's machined. It's very well centered. The little crimps are exactly the same depth on all sides, which is pretty hard to achieve because when you crimp something like that with a 4-point crimp, it inevitably kind of wants to offset one way or the other. So they really did a pretty good job. And then the end cap here is also really pretty nice thick piece of metal and another 4-point crimp. So really appreciate that. The only thing I would mention is a little pocket clip seems maybe a little bit weak on this one. It would be nice if they made it stronger. As I just said, it goes from 6 inches totally collapsed all the way up to 24 inches. And what's kind of interesting is they set it up. You kind of have to straighten this little thing out. It's a little funky, but the flexible section actually will telescope it in and of itself. So you can, since it's all wobbly, it kind of is funky pushing it in there. So you can use it like this. Let me zoom out a little bit. And so you can have it as just being a rigid stick pickup tool, or you can pull this out and have it be kind of a whip. And I really like the whip, the little mini whip, I should say, because you can kind of get around the edge, push it, and then kind of, get it to work its way into whatever tiny crevice that bolt or nut fell into or that screwdriver tip. And then you can kind of wiggle it around and it'll kind of work whatever object its way out. Many times the objects that you're trying to get out with the magnetic pickup tool are kind of in an awkward spot. And even if you can get to the edge of it, it kind of gets caught up in wherever it's at and wants to get pulled back off the magnetic pickup tool. The only thing I will say is the Lyle does use a really strong magnet, but it may be a little too strong because there's some situations where this will grab or stick to, say, a frame member or something, and then it bends all out of shape and you're not actually able to use it to retrieve. It's always kind of a hidden art using those kind of tools. So here's a better example I was just talking about. As you're trying to, say, reach a fastener that's sitting right there, and you'll kind of have to push in and then see the magnet will want to stick to the piece of metal, and then you're trying to twist it, and they can be kind of hit or miss. So the right situations, these are great, but sometimes they can be frustrating. What I will say is it actually does have a very strong magnet. It really is pretty nice. I have some Harbor Freight ones, like this little guy. This is what Harbor Freight has for an articulating head, and I kind of like it a little better because it's really tight, and it really just allows the head to go back and forth a little bit, so it's less susceptible to some of the issues that this Lyle has, although this Lyle will get into places this little Harbor Freight can never get into. I seem to go through these Harbor Freights about one every couple of months just because this head falls apart or the magnet will pull out of the end. It's always kind of annoying. The larger Harbor Freight one like this is really pretty handy to go along with that Lyle. And to kind of finish up a whole set, the Harbor Freight has this really long all flex lit magnetic pickup tool, and so this is actually kind of in between, just a rigid one and this large flex unit. And now I'm getting all these tools stuck to each other. Anyway, that was the review I had for this little Lisle magnetic pickup tool. I thought it was actually pretty darn nice, really well made, and actually has a really nice strong magnet in it, and it's a pretty unique unit. These types of tools can be kind of hit or miss, like I've had with this little Harbor Freight. So when it comes to this type, I would recommend getting a higher quality one, just so it isn't falling apart on you. And so you do get a nice strong magnet, and just comparing size for size against all of these at least this, the magnet in this and the magnet in this one's definitely stronger. This feels like it's a grade 50 neodymium magnet, where the Harbor Freight ones are probably grade 40. The only exception is this heavy duty Harbor Freight one. It really is strong, which really goes to show what you're, kind of paying for. You get this little tool and it's stronger than a much larger one that's more cheaply manufactured. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed to the Catus Maximus channel, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.